don't know, did the Eric Morecambe thing there. It's Chris here. This is day 3 of the fast. This is, just to be clear, this is wonderfully self-indulgent. I'm trying to establish if there's a link between fasting and me not dissociating. Just to recap, last year I went on a hunger strike for 42 days to raise awareness of the heinous system that is universal credit. People who apply for universal credit at the time, they wouldn't get any benefit for 42 days. So I was highlighting that by not eating for 42 days. It is that ridiculous. Now, that system is still as draconian and as awful as it was then. It's only 35 days that people have to not eat for. So that's the kind of world I'm in. And what I found when I was on this fast, that I discovered that I'd stopped dissociating. Now I'm trying to establish, for me, if there's some manner of link between the two, me fasting and me not dissociating. Dissociation, just to recap again, is awful. It's probably regarding my mental health, it's probably the worst thing that happens. I become completely disconnected with the world. I don't feel emotions. I feel completely disconnected from the people I love, from the world, as I say, and it's awful. I can't describe how terrible it is. I think in the past perhaps I've made light of it by saying that we deal with it by putting me in a darkened room with loud American cop shows and waiting for it to pass, and always does after 3 days to between 3 days and 3 months. 3 months is excessive and doesn't happen very often, thankfully. Now, yes, it's devastating though. It's awful. It takes away a third of my life. I lose a third of my life to dissociation. Now, something terrible has happened here because I've been hit with hope, and as we know, hope has a bastard brother, disappointment, and that's my concern here. My hope is that, is there some link between diet and dissociation? I mean, very simply, I know that if I don't eat dairy products for a while, my singing voice comes back, which is great. Now, I've had a number of a lot of feedback from folk just over the past couple of days, and most of it has been really positive. I was sorry to lose somebody who was a follower on Walk a Mile because they felt that I was doing the wrong thing, and that's fair enough. That I really appreciate their standpoint there. But I'm doing this for me. I'm not pretending it's science. I'm making it as scientific as I can, measuring heart rate, blood pressure, and subjectively I'm trying to sort of work out where I'm at. We're 3 days in. There is really no change to report. A bit of stomach rumbling, nothing more than that. But interestingly, some friends sent me a link to a piece that's on Radio 4, and that very piece talks about the link, or the potential link, between the gut and mental health. And I've got to say that's excited me. That's made me start really, again, it's just making me more hopeful. And as I say, I hope that this is a thing. Now, my hope is that people will pick up on this, and already people are sharing with academic friends that they know, in the hope that maybe somebody will think of some research here that we can properly look into treatment for dissociation. Um, I think, yeah, I think that there was some thoughts that, you know, I was doing this because I really wanted to do it. And I've got to hold my hand up and say, yeah, the idea of not dissociating for 42 days is very appealing. I mean, the hunger that I will feel is as nothing compared to, you know, the experience of dissociation. So, you know, I'm quite happy to be hungry for 42 days. People are a bit worried that I will continue starving myself at the end of 42 days if it's successful. But that's, you know, it's a ridiculous sword of Damocles. This isn't a cure. It's an observation. People were saying, you know, where's the proof? Where's the evidence? You know, I'm offering you no evidence other than me appearing in front of a camera every day to have a little conversation with you and hopefully get some feedback from you. Any of your thoughts, always welcome. It's been lovely to get the support of, I don't know, a huge number of folk who've come from left of field, people who I haven't heard from for a long time, telling me that they're right behind me and that they too have read research about the relationship between the gut and the mind. In due course, I'm going to get in, you know, we've got the May Day bank holiday coming up. In due course, I'm going to get in touch with the lecturers, the academics who were mentioned in the piece that's down below. So please have a listen to that, because I don't know, again, it made me feel hopeful. So, as I say, little to report. I went out in the sun today. It's a beautiful day. I went on my usual walk. Nothing to report. Previously, when I was fasting, I felt fatigued early on in the day. I think there is probably a bit of that going on. And also I felt the cold more acutely. Well, summer has officially started, so you know that's I don't see that's going to be an issue. So that's really where I am just now. Please share this, you know, with any academic folk that you know, anybody who'd be willing to look into a study, a human study of you know the relationship between, I mean, for me, dissociation and fasting and diet. Some people have mentioned that there might be a link between carbohydrates and dissociation. They explained to me that they had been suffering from migraines, and when they went onto I think it was a high fat, low carb. So I think it's high fat and protein and low carb. Basically, high fat, low carb diet. They felt that helped them with their migraines. So I'm willing to sort of look at different things. But at the moment, I'm fasting. Now, I think what I will do if at the end of this is if at the end of the 42 days I haven't dissociated, then that's a thing for me. That's important for me, and hopefully I can flog this to somebody. But I'll try other things. I'm quite happy to go on try different diets to see if that affects me in different ways. It's hard to say that this is the sort of thing that drives you fucking crazy. You know, I've had this all my life, and if I could possibly have something that could stop it happening, you know, I'd wear a fucking chicken suit and wander up and down Stratford High Street, just if I knew that was effective. Dissociation is really that shit. Anyway, I'm going to scoot. Do listen to the piece underneath. I'd be really interested to hear any of your comments on it. Thanks again for all your support, and I'm sorry to those that have have been affected by what I'm doing. But yeah, I'm going to plough on, and as I say, ever hopeful. Okay, bye just now.